Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of The Gray Area here on the Black Man Unfiltered Network, simulcasting on the Sparta HQ Network. I'm Mr. Bennett, and I'll be joined by my co-host certainly in a minute. Just want to kind of set the stage for tonight. So, again, as you come in tonight, make sure you hit the like button. Certainly, we appreciate it. Certainly, as you come in tonight, it really helps the algorithm. Also, consider dropping a super chat. Certainly to the Black Man Unfiltered Network or a Cash App. You see the Cash App, Black Man Unfiltered, certainly scrolling at the bottom of the screen. You can certainly do that. And certainly anything that you want to give to us personally, certainly our Cash Apps are also scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So we appreciate you guys being with us and spending your Sunday night with us. This is our call-in show. So again, we're gonna briefly I'll put the link out there so you guys can call in and chop it up with us on any other topic that we've gone through. So we've had several topics that we went over, just war theory, in terms of pacifism versus, those who, serve in the military. Certainly there's a lot of, topics that we've covered. We've covered energy, nuclear energy, all kinds of shows that we've covered certainly in recent weeks. So anything that we might have talked about in previous shows, if you want to come in and chop it up with us on those previous topics, and those shout out to my guy Mandrell, who was trying to get on in a couple of shows when we were talking about certain military topics. And like I said, we're not military experts. I mean, the purpose of the show is for people from different backgrounds to have an intelligent and respectful conversation. So we're just chopping it up. Don't buy anything that we're saying in terms of specific viewpoints or whatever. The viewpoints are our own. We don't rehearse this. We're not just making content just to be popular in the show or just to create false heat, so to speak. We're just real people having an honest conversation. So, but specifically on tonight's show, again, you guys can call us anytime you want. In fact, let me just drop the link certainly in the chat. And you guys are certainly free to come on the show. And again, we certainly we've got our share of some hecklers as of late. So again, if you're gonna come on the show, it's mandatory that again you must show your video, and certainly any nonsense will be dealt with quick, fast, and in a hurry. So just come in here tonight. But certainly I want to acknowledge some of the folks already in the chat tonight. Certainly our guy Lost in Translation, appreciate you being here. Mariana Constantine, who's been certainly a rock, a major support. Certainly to my partner, and certainly appreciate what you do, and certainly the aid that you've given him in his life. So really appreciate you as well. But again, the link has been dropped. So again, if you want to come up again under those rules and conditions that we talked about, again, no foolishness tonight, because this is even though we're going to have it open for people to talk about what they want to talk about, but we're going to touch a specific area tonight. The subtext of the show is grieving the loss of a pet. So my partner Peter, he's had several dogs. So a few years ago he had a beagle, and he's had beagle mixed breeds. And the last dog he had unfortunately died very suddenly last week. His name was Alex. In fact, I just put his picture up here. This is Alex, 5 years old. They still don't know quite sure what happened. Why he passed. He was looked at by a few doctors and whatnot, so they have some speculation. I'll let Peter certainly explain when he comes up. But certainly, just like all beagles, I'm a beagle owner as well, and so my beagle is 7, and so I can appreciate that. I've never had a loss of a pet for Peter. This is the second pet. The first one, was a little bit Hercules. He was a bit older, so that's almost like expected. But certainly with Alex, nobody was seeing that coming. And needless to say, that Peter was pretty shook up from that. But again, I'll let him tell his side of it. But but certainly, what about you guys? If you guys have had pets in the past that you've lost, how did you take it? How did you get over it? And how did did you adopt another one? In fact, Pete, like I said, I'll let him share some of his perspective. But how did you deal with the loss? Did you get another pet right away, or did it take some time? And I know guys personally who never adopted again, or never had because it just hurt too much. That the human canine bond in particular is very special, and for those have experienced that. You guys know what I'm talking about. But also like to know what kind of pets that you had. So again, lost in translation. Look at this. First of all, appreciate. Thanks for the sentiment. But look at this. Certainly, Lost joins the beagle community as well. He had a beagle, and his name was Buster. And so certainly we appreciate it. And again, he says here that, again, he didn't adopt one right away. Yeah, everyone has to kind of go through grieving. And certainly Peter's still kind of going through that. But certainly I'm going to bring him up. And certainly without further ado, my partner, as always, Peter, a.k.a. the Ghost of Sparta, a.k.a. Panagiotis. Brother, like I said, I know you're still hurting and whatnot, but I'll let you, if you want to kind of share just a breakdown of what happened in over the past week or so. Like I said, things move very suddenly, very quickly. But I'll let you spin it. And again, you let me know, because I kind of know the story. So if you let me know if you need me to step in at any time. I can share certainly what you share with me, and we can keep it going. But again, very sorry for your loss. And yeah, I mean, I've had other family members who've owned dogs that I was very close to that died, and certainly I took that. But this, it's gonna come from me one day. Where I'm gonna lose Doc. And, so again, that's not something I don't know how prepared I would be for that, unless he was a very old age. But floor is yours, bud. You can certainly, take it away.
So first of all, I want to apologize to everybody. I haven't been on. I haven't been around because this is a conversation I was not ready to have for a lot of people. What happened the other day was so sudden. And I do apologize if I get emotional.
So understood.
So Sunday night, Sunday was a regular day for me. Walked up, he jumped in on Joy. He wants to go to the bathroom. Alex was two things for me. A, my responsibility to get out of bed, and B, my alarm clock, because the fucker needs to go to the bathroom. Simple as that. So went for a walk, fine. Came back from church, still running around like crazy. Nothing. Went out, came back, same concept. Came to my my office. I played a little Assassin's Creed. Fine. I went downstairs, and I was talking to my mom, and I looked around like, "Where's Alex?" So I calling him. He comes, not crawling, but walking very slow, not like Alex. His eyes were rolling backwards, and I panicked. Don't know. I never experienced that in my life with a pet. I FaceTime one of my friends, and she goes to me, "It looks like he's having an allergic reaction. I would definitely get him to the vet immediately." And that's what we did. The first vet hospital is only 8 minutes from my house. They were closed because they had no vet on duty that night. So we drove 12 to 15 minutes out of town to say, they did all the virals. He said, "Listen, we are on call kind of sophisticated place. So if we need to call the vet in, we will. But all these virals, so fine. Take him home and he should be fine." All right. Took him upstairs. He really didn't want to be. He was hiding from me. That's not my dog. Usually I say when the dog is about to cross a rainbow or whatever you want to call it, they hide. They don't want to see their master or the owner see him go. So in the morning he was still weird, but his eyes was rolling back. All right, that's at least a good sign. So I reached out to Mariana. Mariana took him to the vet in the morning for me. They said it was a viral infection. Obviously, we know now that diagnosis was wrong. So once I got off work, I got a phone call. It says, my mom says, "Hurry up, get home fast as possible. Something's wrong with our boy." When I said I was doing 110 on the highway, that's the understatement. I didn't care if I got pulled over. I didn't care what happened. My dog's in trouble. I get home. Mariana's trying to carry the dog. She didn't have the strength for him. I pick him up. I say, "Run." She runs. I run back in the house. Did he eat anything? Did he get into anything? I need to know as much information as possible so I can keep the vet. I mean, I got in the car. I literally gunned it. I mean, I went bad in hell again. A 8-minute drive became a 3.5 to 4-minute drive. We get there. They weighed him. They put him back. They got him on IVs immediately. Whatever they needed, oxygen, whatever. And the vet is going in and out with me. We'll try and diagnose. Did he get into anything? Did he do this, do that? No. So he was stable, they said. We need to transport him to a higher facility. My first question is, how do we do that? I've never heard of that with dogs. He goes, you're going to have to transport him. We know such thing as ambulance for animals or doggy.
Yeah.
All right, I don't have a choice here. So we had two choices: Allentown, PA, or New Jersey. He said the New Jersey one is the better facility. And we can make some phone calls and come back. Good news, he goes, the New Jersey one is open. They're expecting you. We'll get in and go. Mariano was holding him the whole time. He was making some sounds and everything. And by the time we get there, at the time we didn't know he already started passing when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
So they grab my dog, they rush him in there. They usually give you a piece of paper, Phil, like, do you want your dog CPR? Before I even answer these questions, the lady comes up to me, grabs my arm, your dog hasn't breathed for a while. Do you want CPR? Water walks. Yes. So he runs back there. They put me in a private room with Mariana and says, the chances of a dog coming back from CPR is only 5% out of 100. Very low chances.
Mm-hmm.
Work on my dog. That's all I care about. At this point, I'm praying. I looked up. I went to him. Don't take my dog. Sorry, guys.
No problem. You're all good.
Got back at 12 minutes. She said, he still never responded. Do you want us to work on him? Yes. When it hits 20 minutes, we will call it. 20 minutes hits, comes out. They called it. The doctor, of course, tried to cover me. Takes me in the back room. Brings him in. I didn't recognize him. It was a live dog. Excited dog. Lifeless. I kissed him. I apologized to him. I let him down.
No.
I had him. I got him one more time. I looked at the tactical. You can take him. He sent his gun down on his floor. She goes, would you be comforted with a Pringo? Yes. Could you please snip Cupper's fur for me too? Absolutely. They went to me. Then I called it you.
Yeah.
I was like about 30 minutes from you. Jersey. Not far. And I was hysterical. Like, you know. Second person I called was father. I asked him to pray. That's all I wanted. Then we had to do the paperwork. You know, how the burial stuff is like. Of course, I want him cremated because I don't live in a place I can bury my dog like you do.
Right.
So we paid him. I went up to the secretary and I said, thank you for what they did. They tried. Hats to them. I can't say any bad things about that place. As I left, my mom calls me, goes, what's going on with Alex? Like, I'll tell you when I get home in 30, 45 minutes. They want to tell me over the phone. I looked at it, and Mariana says, because me and my ex brought him together. Should I call her? She goes, I would. I called my ex. It was the issue with the line, so we have to play phone tag for it. And once I got through, I go, I don't know how to tell you this, but Alex has passed away. She goes, what? And when Alex has passed, what happened? I don't know. I don't know. So she goes, I gotta let you go. I can tell she's upset in her voice. She's an animal lover. As much I had blow her away if that happened, but she loved Alex. I care with that. So I told Mariana's driving, can you please call the first hospital, because they asked us to get them up there. We told him, doctor called me and he was speechless. He goes, I don't know why he was stable. I don't know either. I got home. They delivered water. And I didn't, obviously, I'm not going to bring the water in. My dog is dying. Dog comes first.
Yeah.
I brought the water in. I zipped my jacket. There's a little like bench my mom has right in front of her to help her fold clothes, to lean her legs, whatever. I put her up. I looked at her. I grabbed her hands. I go, Alex left us. She and starts water walks. Crying. And the only thing she was thinking about, like, I didn't get you to say goodbye to him. I'm glad she did it. Because that's the picture of him laying there. And I tried to close his eyes. His eyes weren't closing. Of his, they have five outlets.
Yeah.
That's why they don't close. I text my boss that morning, tell him, most likely I'm not be coming in. Explain the whole story in a text. I slept maybe 30, 40 minutes tops. Texts me back. Says, I'm sorry for your loss. If you want to come for the afternoon, it's fine. If you want to take the whole day, take the whole day. I took the whole day. And we were texting back and forth how good Alex was to me. That day, I fell asleep finally for like 30 minutes on the couch. Maybe 45 minutes tops. I didn't sleep that day. I saw in my dreams. Alex used to love coming in the room. Was laying on the couch. That's like my little hangout area. And I pet him for the last time. I felt he came to my dream saying, it's okay. And his way said goodbye. For a few days, two things were in my mind. And I think I told you this. If I didn't, you were going to probably yell at me. It's fine. One, it's my fault. I didn't do enough. Everybody has yelled at me about that. Says, you treat that dog better than any human being out there. You can have top of the line care, top of the line food. You make sure he's the number one priority. And that's true. After I processed it, they're right. I'm not denying that. The other part of me was, and Father, I thought he was going to rip me a new one. When I told him this. CQ ripped me a new one almost. King almost ripped me a new one. In their own special way, of course. Not literally, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I said to him, it should have been me, not him.
Oh, wow.
The first day I thought, I'm never going to be able to pet him again. Play with him. Cuddle with him. Or him pissing me off because I used to piss him off too because I used to play with him to the point he didn't want to play anymore. And I thought, we're done when I tell we're done. He used to bark at me when he got mad. Then the second day was realization. He's not here anymore. The third day was depression. Fourth day is Mom looked at me and goes, we need to start looking for another pet. Because we don't know how long the process is. It could be 2 days, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, a year. We don't know because this is a process.
And mind you, just for the audience, he didn't do any shows last week. So I know I stepped in on his Tuesday Spartan Arena show. He was in no condition to do any podcasting of any kind. So again, hosting shows, whatever. The guys on the Sparta team had to do try to make up for it. But yeah, he was in no capacity to do any kind of shows, so yeah, I mean, definitely, when you talk about someone having to grieve, he definitely was in it, and but this here is, and this is a question I was asking a lot of people when it came in. If you've lost a pet, I know Lost. He shared that he didn't get another one right away. I know guys who never adopted again or never got another dog because again it simply just hurt too much. You put so much time and effort and just your life, cohabitating with these animals, and especially, and I would say especially the dog. I mean, and what I'd also be curious about also is like what other type of pets do people have? I know some people who own some pretty exotic animals, snakes and weasels, ferrets, all kinds of other animals that people have owned. I'd be curious in the chat. Anybody else, if you've owned other pets that you were very close to, goldfish even. I know a lot of people spend a lot of money on goldfish tanks and things of that nature. Various exotic fish, birds. I know a guy I used to work with. He owned like 3 or 4 large, very large parrots and macaws and whatnot. Macaws. So again, people really invest some of their time. In fact, I'll share some information a little bit later. So I'd be curious to know if you've had any kind of exotic pets. What were those? Anybody wants to share that in chat? I'd want to know what other animals that you had experience with, but dogs in particular. First of all, that's our first, just as human beings. This is the Gray Area Show. We like to talk about things from a global level. Dogs was the first animal that was ever domesticated, and it's been our most successful domestication. The dog-human relationship goes back nearly 30,000 years. And certainly, in fact, I shared on your Tuesday show one video where they were suggesting that humanity may not be where it is today in terms of going from a hunter-gatherer group to like a herding, shepherding, commerce type of group without dogs, because we were able to train those dogs in order to guard herds and sheep and whatnot. Modern agriculture as we know it. The dog was very instrumental in doing that. So, what human beings have advanced to the level that we have without dogs. So dogs, again, are very special in terms of the relationship. And that also allowed us to domesticate other animals, the horse, pigs, chickens, all other types of animals that we domesticate. If we didn't get it right with the dog, those other domestications may not have taken place. And we all know how important they've been in human history in terms of being able to travel and whatnot. So this relationship runs deep, because I know there's a lot of people, you may not like dogs, or people say I'm not a dog person, and certainly we can appreciate that. But dogs are certainly very much part of human history throughout the world. And not everyone maybe has the same view of dogs or whatnot, but they've certainly been instrumental in our development. And so when people sharing on that, it's an important thing to know.
Because my neighbor, she's not a dog person. She has told me that straight up, but she loved Alex to death. She wouldn't really pet him or anything like that, but she loved him because every time he barked, she knew somebody was outside our house, because we share the same hallway. She's across from me, and today was the first time she talked to me, and she was asked what happened. So we have come down to 4 conclusions this morning. A stroke. B, it could have been a birth defect that we didn't catch. Maybe cancer also. Or some type of bleeding in his brain. That's our only guess we have. Because all of this, what the vet did find, and he wanted me to transfer it, was because it was neurological, brain related, pretty much. The only thing I didn't mention earlier, I do apologize, I missed one part of the story. After I done talking to father and you, before I talked to my ex, I also reached out also to my old neighbor. His dog and Alex were like best friends. We were joking around one time, like Blue was fixed and he wasn't, and we're gonna be related at some point, because Alex always trying to hump her and all that. But it just. The same thing I said to father last night. I'll say here. I don't understand why God took him away from me so early.
Yeah, 5 years. 5 years. I don't know if that stat was given at the beginning of the show. 5 years old. So so that's very early for a dog.
And this was dramatic with Hercules. At least okay. Listen. I had him for 15. He was 16. He was year 1. I got him. And I get it. His age showed. I saw the grays. He wasn't jumping as high. Like, he couldn't jump on the bed anymore. I had to pick him up. I knew I was coming to reality. Like, he was going, his time was coming towards the end. And one day I looked at my ex, and I looked at her like, I think it's Alex's time. Hercules' time's coming. She got in an argument with me. No. 2 days later, we had to put him down. It hurt. Not gonna
Yeah.
deny it.
Hmm.
But this hurts so much more
Oh yeah.
because I didn't have time to enjoy him still.
Hmm.
I had at least a minimum 10 more years with him easily.
Hmm.
A joyful life, running around, playing. And you ever see those things on Facebook that please don't stop loving me because I'm old and I can't run as much? I will love him to death, no matter what.
Hmm.
He's two things I want to say about him. One, you ever heard the saying, my dog would hurt a fly?
Yeah.
That was Alex, literally. His picture
Hmm.
should be next to that saying.
Yeah, and beagles in general. I mean, they get along great with other human beings, other dogs. Like we take a dog to the dog park, fairly regularly. He gets along with everybody. Never jealous of any other dog or what have you. So, and we've had dogs come over here, and like like you were saying about Alex, sometimes we got to try to stop him from humping, but again, no aggression whatsoever towards other dogs. In that regard. Couple things. Just want to acknowledge Black Man. Thank you for certainly chiming in. And it's also a sad story. He had two Rottweilers, brother and sister, a few years ago, and they died at 4 months old from parvo, which that's like it's like a viral disease. So again, very sorry for your loss. 4 months old, that's tough to have young pups like that and go at once. So that's certainly. But I wanted to acknowledge that and thank you for sharing that. Now it's also interesting. You talked about your neighbor not liking dogs. I'll one up you. My wife doesn't like dogs.
I remember you mentioned that.
So we got Doc from. So again, my daughter, she was at school. She just finished her second year. She was contemplating. Well, we're all contemplating. Do we want to pay for a third year on campus? I mean, the campuses are pretty close. Just like you can commute, but certainly she thrives well in the campus environment. But she said she'd be willing to live at home if we got her a dog. Now, I've always been a dog lover, like my whole life, but certainly with the kids being young like that, and we weren't sure if they want the responsibilities of it. So in timing, I did a lot of travel as they were growing up. So again, it wouldn't be a good situation in that who would be here to really take the dog out every day and really care for the dog. But my daughters are in college or certainly winding up high school. So we felt it was a good time. So basically, the other two daughters were, so it was basically 4 against 1. And my wife was like, okay, she didn't want to be the killjoy. So she said, okay, let's do it. So we looked around and we found our dog. There was a beagle adoption at a local Petco in our area. And it was down to why, and his name is Doctor Strange. Now, why his name is Doctor Strange is because there was a litter of dogs that was named after Marvel characters. So by the time we got to the, we put an application in. By the time they got, followed up with the adoption agency, and by the time they, said that there were dogs available, it was Doctor Strange, Captain America, and Black Panther. Right, those were the three dogs. Now we, Black Panther obviously appealed to us, so we were trying to get him first. But there was another woman who had first dibs on him. The only thing we were waiting for was whether or not she was going to come down in time that day to adopt him. And sure enough, she showed up. And she had another dog with her, so that's how it was done. So it was basically Captain America and Doctor Strange. My daughter bonded with Doctor Strange, and that's why we have we call him Doc for short. But I remember my wife saying adamantly, "Okay, if we get this dog, all right, there's going to be some criteria here. One, there's no way we're letting the dog on our bed. I mean, she was just indignant about that. No dog in the bed." Maybe about 3 months in, he was in our bed, and he sleeps with us almost every night. So I mean, it's like it just that quick.
Because the only thing I feel bad about Alex is when I was living with my ex, the first time before we broke up and got back together, is she went Alex upstairs. And I kind of like had no choice because that was it was technically her house first before I moved in. That's the only thing I would have told you now. If that was the case, like, I'm not moving in. Simple. If he's not allowed to come upstairs, fuck you. And end of story. With dog love and adoption, it's such they're not only just companions. Like here's the messed up part. Alex was there for me through the breakup, homelessness, the cancer, losing a job, cancer again with my mom, the final breakup,
Hmm.
everything. Everything. When I said he was my emotional support dog, I mean that from the
Yeah.
bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things like he's he's one of those dogs gonna be one of a million. It's never, never, never gonna be another dog like him.
Hmm.
Maybe I get lucky down the future. Maybe I get another dog like that one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
he
as
was
I said, it's just made. I mean, like I said, the way that my wife certainly just finished that. Not only does he sleep in the bed, but I mean that's her son. Like she's already said, like she doesn't want another dog. She's said that already, but she loves him and she cooks for him and dotes on him. And another thing she says, oh, he's never gonna lick my face. Uh, she gives her face. So I mean, it's just amazing how again her attitude changed towards him. She doesn't necessarily like dogs in general. She kind of gets, especially big dogs, she can get a little skittish around it, but she loves him and just the doting on there. So it is pretty it is pretty special what they give. But you talk about the emotional support. I mean, the roles that the dogs occupy. We got to talk about that. I mean, I know firefighters, police officers, military vets, senior citizen homes. When my mom was in a senior citizen home, I would oftentimes take Doc with us, and it's like the whole room changed when he got there. In fact, they were actually at the center. They were saying, "Hey, if you have a pet, bring your pet over to the center," because people understand just the endorphins that are released and just what dogs do in terms of helping to calm people down who've gone through emotional. I know cops, if you're stressed out or whatever, they'll bring dogs in to help to help to calm them down, especially if they want a stressful case or violent incident or something like that. So they provide so many roles, and it's just cool how they're accepted in college. When my dogs are in college, you can actually get your dog approved to be an emotional support dog, and because of that, you can take that dog anywhere you want. You can take them in supermarkets and shopping centers. You can take them into classes with you, as long as that dog was there, and it's a heck of a lot better than putting kids on medicine or Ritalin or whatever other drugs or prescriptions that are there. So it's just there's so many roles that dogs in particular, and I know we're talking about focusing on dogs tonight, but again, like I said, that's probably our closest when it comes to when it comes to pets. I mean, obviously there are more of them than I think any other pet out there. But again, that bond, they're so flexible in terms of the roles they occupy. They snip bombs. We had our guy Trey on I think last year, and he was talking about he's worked with canine units in the police departments and whatnot, and how those dogs are treated. Like when a dog dies, they get full services. Burial services, whatnot. They play taps, and all these dogs are serving military and police and whatnot. So they're so flexible and they're so integrated into our lives. So again, whether you like a dog or not, dogs certainly do occupy a very important place in society. And so certainly, they have that special place. But I wanted to address a question that King answered, and I think you were about to get there before we went into that long sort of pivot. But he asked the question, says, "Are you going to stay away from having another pet?"
absolutely.
So now you just dropped some news. So again, why don't you continue with your story? You left off where you said your mom was saying you need to get another. We may need to look into get another dog. So why don't you pick up that story where it left off and let us know where you're at.
That was the Friday. Excuse me, sorry guys. From all the crying I've been doing lately, and I'm coughing like
It's all
crap.
good.
So, and I told her she was right, because let me back up a little bit too. Also, when Hercules died, I started looking, browsing. That's all I was doing, browsing. I wasn't ready because I didn't know. This is my first time losing an animal. I don't know how long that I should have waited. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I met Alex in 3 weeks. I got lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing his picture. Oh, he's cute. Wait, what do you think? Oh, he's adorable. oh yeah, I'm interested, blah blah blah. Says, they told me, yeah, we have him, but he's in another location. If you put $100 deposit, we can transfer him here, and you can meet him. If you don't like him, you get your money back. I looked at him. He was jumping up and down, trying to escape. I go, you're coming home. Hater. Got my dad. Drove home, and his rest is history.
Mhm.
So I was looking, and me and my chef were talking, and he said to me, he's an animal lover too. He's a dog lover. He had dogs all his life, and he always recommend getting a dog from the Amish. The Amish. Why then?
Mm.
He goes, they think about it. They're farmers. They know how to raise these people. They're breeders. You got a point there, dude. Because it could have been because when you buy a dog from a pet store, they're produced like cars. They keep once they've done one litter, as soon as they can, they're on the next litter. When they're done with that litter, the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So there are going to be issues eventually with some type of litter, and that could have been Alex. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
we don't know.
Yeah.
So I saw a couple. I called them just to get some information on them. A couple of them never called me back. The one guy who did call me back, I was Saturday morning. He gave me a bunch of information. He told me I'll be around. I can't promise you the dog will be here long because I need to get rid of them pretty much. Not in a bad way, but he needs to find a home for them. Spoke to mom about it. She goes, "What do you have planned today?" I just got a haircut. After I get a haircut, we can drive up there, but it's a 2.5 hour drive. I went to her like, I don't care. She goes, I'll shit myself if I have to. All right. I have no choice. So I went to the ATM. I took what he was asking. He was only asking 500. It's not a lot of money. You really think about it for a life partner. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I drove up there. We had a long conversation. Half the road was about Alex saying the dog had a lot of life in it. They misdiagnosed him. Not gonna argue that, Pack. I agree with her. Then the other half is like trying to figure out if we do like this dog, what we're gonna name him. So I get there, he walks out. I look at him like, oh, he's definitely Amish. He had the Amish hat, the Amish beard, and everything.
Mhm.
I was joking around with him like, I guess you're Amish. He goes, how could you tell? With an Amish accent, he's like, wow, guess. He says, let's go over here. I'll show you where the pups are. There were a litter of seven, excuse me, and only was left 2 girls and 1 boy. He told me all the boys for some reason came out a little bit towards the end, a little crooked tail, like a propeller. It almost looks like.
Mhm.
Like I didn't care. Like I care about a healthy dog. That's what I care about. I looked at him like he picked him up. She put it in my hands like, can we bring him to my mom because my mom can't walk? Absolutely, he goes to me. We talk. My mom looked at him and starts kissing him and goes, "You're coming home with us." I looked at her like, he looked at me. He goes, I think you owe me money now. I'm like, I think I do. Here you go. I go, I'm a Christian. Just please make sure you count it. I don't want to think I'm lying to you or anything like that. He goes, he counted it. He goes, we're good. He gave me a couple of dog food, shook my hand, and we were debating a name. First, we are going to name him after me, Spartan, but she couldn't pronounce the name correctly. So ended up moving to Apollo. So actually, I have pictures of him right now. I haven't posted anything yet. I'm trying to get a good picture, but he's very hyper dog, so I can't get him to sit still really fast. Too long for a picture, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Photos. Here we go. I'm gonna share my screen, Paul. Okay.
Yep.
That's little Apollo.
So there we have it. So to answer King's question, were you going to stay a while without another pet, ladies and gentlemen? As of today or yesterday? Was it,
Yesterday, I picked him up yesterday.
yesterday. So welcome Apollo to the Laritz's family. How old is he?
2.5 months.
2.5 months old.
Yeah.
So again,
I'll tell you why. I'll explain to you right now why I'm blessed with him. So the first night I tried walking him, I'm going to housebreak him immediately. I'm not going to wait and crate him. I did crate him. Don't get me wrong. So he doesn't have access around the house and get into things, but he's He's a sneaky little shithead. He gets into things.
Hmm.
So I walked him last night. He goes like, "Fuck you! I'm not going out with that damn thing around my neck." He was like trying to bite it off. I'm like, "All right, you're gonna fight me now." We took a small walk. Didn't do nothing. I put a blanket down and pee pee pads because I bought a big enough crater for him.
Hmm.
He peed mostly on the pad, but he missed a little bit and he peed a little bit on his blanket. So I'm gonna wash that. I'm not worried about it. So this morning he did a little better. This afternoon, not as well. The last walk, no, no, 1, 2, 3. The third walk I tried, he did better there. The fourth walk, he did it really well. He went out. At one point, the dogs were barking at him, my neighbor dogs, literally like right over this wall. And he goes, He's from shaking. I go, I picked him up. I walked up to her, put him down. He goes, and I looked over like, oh, you shit. Whoa, you got big shits for a little dog. So he did his business, came back in, took him out again later. He did really well. He went back and in, but he didn't do anything this time because he's still trying to get used to it. So he's not eating and drinking as much, but he's eating and drinking. All right.
Right.
So then at night, when I fed him tonight, after a half hour later, I took him out. He goes, he peed his shit. He was like, good. He did. Wherever I go, he's following behind me everywhere. And my mom looked at me and goes, I'm like, that little shithead. I carried him for 2.5 hours in the car. He was climbing over my mom's neck and everything because after the first hour, he was sleeping for the first half hour and a half.
Hmm.
He was climbing everywhere because he got like, I didn't move. He was in a barn and running around, so he was not used to be closed environment still. So my mom's got a little just like he's following you, but I carried him. I go, but I tucked him in bed. I walked him. I fed him. The first night I fed him by hand because he was so scared. He didn't know what was going on. I literally took the hand and I just started feeding him one by one by one. So to King's question, both of them, is really
Yeah. So this is yeah. So you had a little push. So why they are lovable liabilities. Any way you can focus on building your life without. Any way you can focus on building your life without, at least for a while. So again, this is to me. This is one of those questions that again everybody's going to respond to differently. It's like how does a couple deal with? And again, people may say this is a big leap. Comparing human beings to pets or to dogs, but that is a trend. And I think we've talked about that. We did a gray area show some time back on parenting. And the reality is statistically, especially with Gen Zers and whatnot, a lot of them are opting out of having kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they're choosing dogs. They call them fur babies. And the love that what the devotion that they pour into these into their pets is as it maybe not as strong, but it's a pretty strong bond. And so if you let's say if you lost a child, and then let's say if you're young, still young enough to have kids, how many parents wait a while before they have kids, or they have kids right away? And again, this is a generation, especially with more modern people today, because back in the day, my dad came from 13 and my mom came from 9. So it was almost like you had, for economic reasons, you had a lot of kids with the expectation you may lose a few along the way. So some people were like, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. We're just going to have, kids. But some people can never get over the loss of a child. And like I said earlier, some people never get over the loss of a pet, a family member like that.
I know.
So again, I don't know if that's a question that can answer it. I know King, just from talking to you, I know you aren't necessarily the biggest dog person. Again, that might, and again, nothing's wrong with that. But for those who have that affection and love for animals, dogs in particular, that's a tough question to ask. But if you've been there, you can certainly understand it. But your take on that?
I would say King is a dog lover in the end of the day, but he doesn't want the responsibility because how much he travels and goes out and does things.
Mm.
So for him, is more the freedom versus when you have a dog, you have responsibility. Now, the first few days, I had no purpose in life.
Mm.
Like now, I have to get up again. I have to walk him. With him, I have to walk him longer because his bladder is different than Alex was. It's different routine, and that was my biggest scare. What happened? This dog is an asshole.
Mm,
Their dogs are like that, like human beings.
mm,
Like, a few people are like you, even you personally, like you deal with a person, but at the end of the day, he's an asshole. You don't want to fucking really deal with him, but you have to deal with him because you work with him or he's part of your family or whatever the case is.
mm.
But he's a sweet dog overall. I got lucky.
Yeah,
He's
but
already
I think that the case I was making again, you can
yeah,
apply that to everything. Let's say if you split up with somebody, right? You get a divorce or whatever. How long do you give yourself before you go start dating again? Now, some people say dating on the rebound, or shouldn't you spend some time separated for a while so you can work on yourself and maybe go through therapy and get things together before you date again? That might even be a general principle that I could kind of get behind. But I know some people they split up, they meet their new life partner within a few months, and they're still married today. I've seen that. I've seen that also. I mean, a lot of these things, either you're ready for, or at least you're willing to go through the pains of it. And again, we're not saying that Apollo is going to replace Alex.
no,
I mean, as you saw at the beginning of the show, that Peter is still grieving over Alex, and I don't think that pain is going to go away anytime soon. But the fact that his heart is so open, I just know him the way I know him, that he's willing to still invest his time, obviously his money and his resources so quickly. And not only is it good for Peter, it's also good for his mom, who
yeah,
spends a lot of time. I mean, she's home during the day, so again, her having a companion at home, it's also good for her. So I think there's some practical considerations to consider with this. But again, in terms of measuring a time, trying to put, and I'm not saying you're trying to do that, King, but like trying to put what do you want, 6 months or a year before you go back to it, or what have you. Some people, some people, everyone has different stages of grief, and in terms of how people deal with it. And so again, I want to have that space, but I like to hear from people again. If you've lost a pet that that was dear to you, how did you deal with it? Did you adopt another pet right away, or did you never adopt again? How did you deal with that? What was the coping mechanism? Did you have to go to therapy to get over that? Those are things I would like to hear from other people. And again, this is, as I said earlier, this is our call-in show. So the link has already been dropped in the chat. If you search through the chat, you'll find the link. If you want to come up and be part of the conversation, you can certainly do so. And certainly. But as we always insist, just make sure that your camera is on when you're talking. And yeah, we can certainly bring you up for the we can certainly bring you up to be part of this conversation, or anything else you want to talk about. Like I said, this is kind of this is sort of the text of the show, in that we weren't going to have a show specifically on this, but obviously we want to give people an opportunity if they want to join up. So, but go ahead, Pete. I just wanted to kind of level set that.
with the grieving part, how long do you wait? There's no timeline like that. With Hercules passing, it took me 6 months to get it over him completely, to the point that I could talk to him comfortably without breaking down. Even my VP felt for me, and that was Thursday. We had a big party, huge party. We had to focus on. My mind was on, and he knew I was quiet. I'm not like I'm talkative at work. So he goes to me, asked me, and I kind of like got waterworks again. And he said to me, "Don't ever apologize to me ever again for being upset about your fur babies. You're human. You're allowed to have emotions." He was going to give me the day, but I opted to stay home. He's not going to do me any good staying home, because everything reminds me of him.
Mm.
It got to the point, like a couple times, I grabbed his last blanket he laid in. It still smells just like him, and I sniffed it. I know it sounds crazy and weird and stupid, whatever, but it comforts me
Mm.
knowing he was still here at one point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I'm going to miss by that dog. Apollo is not going to replace Alex. Alex did not replace Hercules. All of them had their own different personalities. He
Mm-hmm.
was a unique dog, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
A special dog. Anybody who met Alex loved him. The outpour of people hearing him passing is incredible. Grown men, tougher than me, are crying knowing Alex passed. Because he wasn't the type of dog that was, oh, he's just another dog. Hi, bye. I'm never going to see you again.
Mm-hmm.
People asked about him all the time. Hey, how's Alex doing? Is he still driving you crazy? There are always questions about him. Every time I see people, even with me and you're always asking, hey, how's Alex doing? Same thing with you. How's Dr. Strange? It just, this shocker, it was a stab in the heart. And it broke my heart in 1,000 pieces, seemed like that.
Mm-hmm.
I never expect him to have my baby laying lifeless
Yeah.
on the table.
And again, just to reiterate, we're talking about basically a 24-hour period here. We're not talking about weeks or months of suffering or what have you, or dealing with an illness. This came literally, all this went down within like a 24-hour period where all this went down. So again, I the shock of that, again, something that you're totally not expecting. I think that certainly adds a different element to it than a dog that's aged out or has a disease and slowly dying, and you're just trying to give the dog comfort in its last days or what have you. This happened like in an instant.
Yeah. And that's the worst part because he was playing with me that same day,
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, before I got sick. And literally less than 24 hours, I'm rushing to the ER. The worst part is not like a human can tell you, Paul, my heart is bothering me. Well, okay, let me come. I'll drive an hour and 20 minutes, come and take you to the ER if I have to. And let's get you fixed up.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I couldn't do anything because it was out of my control. That's the worst part. Because when you have an animal, you want to do everything for that little poor guy. Make him happy, comfortable. Like the last few months, he got in a new routine. Like when I turn the hallway light on, he knows I'm brushing my teeth usually at that point. He will come up the stairs, sneak around a corner, jump on the bed, and just hang out there. And I looked at him like, the hell? And you showed the pictures before him and laying on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at him like, you son of a bitch. Like, but he loved laying on the bed. He loved, at nighttime, that was his good example. His cuddle time, his pet time. But he had his rules, not my rules, his rules. If I stopped petting him when he wasn't done, he would do this. He would grab his paw, grab my hand, and pull my hand. I looked at him like, seriously? All right. I stopped. All right. Seriously? You're still not done? And that's the thing. That's how he was. He was that type of dog. You could not stop loving him.
Yeah.
He was a sweet dog. Yeah. Like I cannot say anything bad about him.
Absolutely.
A bad thing about him. Like the worst thing he did is just put the clean laundry out and just throw it on the floor, just piss us off. That's because he wanted to play. That's why he did it.
Gotcha. Let me switch gears a little bit, if you don't mind. Just want to share some stats. I'm the big stat guy here, so I just wanted to kind of share some perspective. Because again, I still hear some people may say, oh, it's just a dog, it's just an animal, or people don't understand the devotion that we have to our pets. So this is again from U.S. News and World Report. 68 million households have a dog, not just a pet, but a dog. There's about 135 million households in the U.S. So you're talking about like half of households have pets. The most popular, based on statistics from U.S. News and World Report, is the Labrador Retriever, which is a beautiful dog. Certainly that was a dog I contemplated certainly in the past. This is a breakdown of the top 3 dogs based on cities. So you see here, golden retrievers are very popular. Rottweilers, golden doodles, French bulldogs are pretty popular as well. But certainly, in fact, it was weird because growing up, my dream was to have actually 2 golden retrievers. And it's interesting now. You go to the dog parks or whatnot, and I'll see families, they'll bring 2 or 3 golden retrievers in one family over. And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, they're a little bit too big, and that's too much hair to be dealing with. So it's just amazing how your perspective, what you think you may want. And then now I'm to the point now where I think the only dog I'll ever own, should I, when Doc goes, and if I want to contemplate another dog, it'll probably be a beagle. I think for us and our family dynamic, the beagle is the perfect dog. They're small, but they're not too small. They're friendly with everybody, very patient with other people. So certainly for me, the beagle, I don't have to own any other dog breed than a beagle. Shout out to Braxton the Steak Fiend. He says here, the first sugar glider I had for a couple of months, it died, and the second one my parents took all the way back to Texas, and the third one I had from 2005 to 2014. So you had one for 10 years. Again, certainly appreciate you sharing your experience with dogs. Thank you for sharing that, Braxton. Just a little more info here. Here's some more cities. Again, golden retrievers, golden doodles, pit bulls are really big. I know for guys in Texas, I know certainly pit bulls are pretty popular. German shepherds, I know a few German shepherd owners. Pretty popular dog breed. Here, this is from the American Kennel Club in terms of registrations. Here's the top 10 most popular dogs in the country. French Bulldog is currently number 1. Beagles are number 7. Certainly on the list. I think at one point they might have been number 4. Certainly on that list. But again, German Shepherd, Dachshunds, I've seen a few through those as well. Rottweilers, I know, like I said, a good friend of mine, he's on his 3rd Rottweiler. Certainly there's a lot of folks who just love that kind of dog. And again, Rotties are interesting because, again, they can be very affectionate if they know you, but they have that protection streak in them where I remember when my wife and I got married, we lived next to a couple and they had a Rottweiler, and the dog would just go nuts, like just looking to rip your throat out at the door. But as soon as he came outside and he was with his own, he come up with you, he just like, go ahead, rub my belly. But then the next day I'm coming home and he's at the door and he's like, it's like, look, you know me. I've been here before. So again, they could be very protective and territorial, at certain times. But again, once you get into the inner circle, once they like you, it's like they're almost too much. They're overbearing, Rottweilers, because of how affectionate they are. But just a few more stats here. This is another one from another website that had stats on dogs, and really these are just dog breeds around the world. And this is the Rottweiler is the number 1 dog in 34 countries, the highest number of appearances of any breed. The Australian Shepherd dog is the most widely searched, with 913,000 hits across the country. The most popular dog in the UK is the Cockapoo. And it says 150 territories in our study share a love of 27 different dog breeds. So you can just get a breakdown here of what dogs are most popular. I've heard a lot about these cane corsos. I think that's a little bit too big for me, but I think that's almost to an extent replacing the Rottweiler in terms of popularity. I think they're bigger than Rottweilers. They're really powerful dogs. But I've seen a lot of cane. I've seen a lot of cane corso love. Certainly as of late, people really getting into that dog breed that's certainly growing in popularity in the United States, and just different locales that have dogs. Beagles are pretty popular in Portugal, so it just gives you just an overview of the the different dog breeds and popularity by country. Now, I didn't see anything on this list for Greece, but I did look up these Greek breeds. What's the most popular breed of dog? And maybe you can give some insight on this. But there's all of these dogs here on this, and I can't even pronounce the names of half of them. But these are all ancient dog breeds. Like, they don't even know these breeds go back hundreds, if not thousands of years. But these dogs were developed and bred in Greece, and the most popular dog in Greece is called the kokanai. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Pete. But it's a small, relatively small dog, anywhere from 8 to 17 pounds. Has different colors and whatnot, but it's a very popular dog breed, very friendly. They were bred for companionship, and this is supposedly the most popular dog in Greece, based on there's a Greek kennel club based on registrations that this is the most popular dog out there. And as you said, so it's a cute small dog, but there's several dogs on this list. Again, the Kokino's featured in the center there.
Most popular breed I remember seeing a lot of people have, and there was not a lot of people who had dogs. There were a lot of strays at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's different. Even my best friend Dimitri, he will say too, he loved German Shepherds. And a lot of people love the German Shepherds dogs.
Yeah.
And they're a great dog. One of my favorite breeds is too much hair for me, not because it's too much dog, it's too much hair, is the Alaska Huskies.
Yeah.
Because they're beautiful dogs.
Yeah.
But there's too much for me to deal with, the hair.
Yeah.
That's why I gravitated. Like, I had 4 dogs so far with Apollo. My first one was a golden retriever mix.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't pass on me. We had to give her up because we were moving at the time to the apartment on PA. Hercules was my second one. The hair is not bad. You have a beagle, a dachshund. I'm just a beagle. You know how it is. Yeah. And Hercules was beagle dachshund mix. He had more beagle in him than dachshund, but he had both traits. Body wise, he was more a beagle. A dachshund, but he had a hard-headed. This is the part I hated about him. Sometimes he was so hard-headed as a dachshund. Dachshunds are very hard-headed dogs. And then I had Alex, a Meagle mix. We wasn't sure what the other mix was. We were thinking it was a Basset Hound or whatever. Even a lot of people who saw Apollo, a few people who've seen him in person so far, like yourself, think he's a mixed breed. He's not purebred. I don't care, to be honest.
Yes, yeah.
I love him no matter what.
Right. And they say, it's good to have a little mix. They said a lot of the mixed breed dogs are healthier, because a lot of times with the purebreds, they have if they have a lot of inheritable diseases or traits or whatnot that gets bred into the dog. Having a breed that's mixed with it, it kind of cancels a lot of those defects certainly out of the breed. So mixed dogs generally tend to be healthier than purebreds. Especially when it comes to like hip dysplasia and all kinds of other ailments that are known to purebred dog breeds.
Like, let me show my screen one more time.
Sure.
When you're ready. This is when we first got him the first day with my dad.
Let
me get a better picture. This is the same. There was both same pictures. He loved cuddling under the blankets. He was, again, 2 days after I got him. And that's how he was. He loved taking pictures. I don't know what was with my dog taking pictures. He loved taking pictures. Like, you can see he's posing half the times.
Yeah, very photogenic.
Very. And he was adorable. I'm not saying because he was my dog. I'm just saying the facts. Like, he loved being on the couch. He loved, and I apologize to mess. This is when we first moved into the apartment when I had him. You see him, like, look at him. He's looking right at me too. He's like, all right, picture time. Like, he was good. Like, he knew what he was doing. He's not stupid. So there's one picture I want to show you guys. I can find it really fast. Again, you see, he was a happy, healthy dog overall. You can tell from the pictures. And this is one thing he always loved, putting his head right there every night.
Mine does the same. Mine likes to sleep on my feet. So if I'm laying on the couch, like, he has to lay on my feet, like over them. It's almost like he's like my foot warmer. But it's like he has to lay there.
No, I get that because when after he gets comfortable and he passes out for a little bit, he moves at the bottom of my feet. This is his favorite poses. He loved being under the blankets like that. He didn't like his head under the blankets. He just liked being tucked in. You know, a couple pictures of him getting tucked in, like I have. You know, he was the only thing he was scared of is balloons. Was right here. I remember when we got the balloons and we put them on him. He was running around in the house like crazy, like get this shit off me, dude. Just get it off me. He hated balloons, and it like. And I think that's the thing that fears me right now with the new one. Like, what is going to be his quirks? Because I was so
you can never know that. Each dog is an individual. So right, so you just roll with and just love them for for who they are.
I think I had Alex for so many years, last 5 years, and I got my bond with him was so much stronger than Hercules was. Hercules had a bigger bond with my mom than me. So this bond was so strong, and when this happened, like my whole world came apart.
Yeah.
Let's answer now for a second, Paul. All right. Let's say he was 16 when he passed. Yes, my world will break around, but it won't be as painful like it is now.
No, like I said, anything that again that's unexpected or you think that is too soon is tragic. Like for me, I say now, if someone lives to 100, I'm not mourning too much. That's just, human being. It could be my grandma, great grandma, whatever. You make it to 100, I got nothing to say. You had a well live life. But again, someone dying in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s. I mean, again, nobody's prepared for that. We're not expected to. Now, again, the thing with dogs also, we got to understand that for the emotional attachment that we have to these animals, we know at best, I think the oldest dogs you might get lucky, and a dog may get to like over 15 is pretty rare. I don't know if any dogs have got to like 20. I know Guinness Book of World Records like 23, 24, something like that. But I mean, generally you're talking, on the outset, if human beings live to like 75 or 80 or whatever, then dogs 12 to 15. That's if you get more than 12 to 15, you're kind of you're not losing money. So to speak. So,
Paul.
Yeah.
So the bigger dogs like Rowdies, Huskies, German Shepherd, average lifespan for big dogs are about 12 years, give or take. Right. Beagles, Dachshunds, those kind of dogs are about 12 to 15 usually. And that's why I got very lucky with her because he got an extra year out of it.
Yeah.
So that's why, again, I didn't pick a beagle because I like beagles. This happened to be a beagle again. That's what it was. This one I picked on purpose because I actually I realized I'm a beagle dad. Simple as that. I'm always going to be a beagle dad. I'm going to die being a beagle dad. I'm always going to be a beagle dad.
Right.
With Chihuahua-sized dogs, the small ones, Yorkies and Chihuahuas, they can live the minimum about 20 years to say. That's why a lot of people like the Chihuahuas and Yorkies because they live longer.
Yeah.
So when they do go, the pain is not going to be as bad as it is now.
Right. Right.
But
we know just as human beings, so just like when you marry someone, right? I mean, it's like, you don't, or you have your own kids. You just expect, or at least you hope that, you can ride it out the rest of your life with that person. You know what I mean? That you'll have many years certainly with that particular person. I mean, that's a given. But with dogs, that again, let's say if I gave you 20 and you live to a healthy old age of like 60, 70, 80 years old, you're going to go through losses. I mean, it's just part of and for some people, the question is, how do you deal with that? Or how do you recover from that? So you, like I said, you're on your fourth dog. And so, someone could say, okay, well, get ready for heartache again. And some dogs, like I said, with Black Man Shirt earlier, he didn't even get, I think 4 months after he got the dogs, they had passed. So you barely had any time to develop any kind of bond with your dogs. But again, that's part of it. It's almost like it's like a trade-in. It's like, yes, they say, now again, some people may doubt when you talk about unconditional love and that kind of thing. No, it's very conditional, right? they need things from us, right? They need food and they need protection and things like that. And they give us they give us certain things that that are important to us. But it's the trade off. It's like, yeah, I'm going to give you that, but the cost is going to be I'm only going to be here for a short time, and that's that's a trade off that most people are willing to make. If I could just go back to my slides here, just look at the costs. So this group, this is a pet insurance association. So they came out with just the monies that Americans spend on their pets year to year, and again projected for 2025, $157 billion. All these numbers are in the billions, and it goes up every year. And like I said, young people, young couples are opting out of having children, and they would much rather put their love and emphasis into dogs and or other pets. Just as a breakdown of where that 157 billion is going: 67.8 million in food, supplies, medicines and whatnot, 34 billion, vet care, 41.4 billion, other services, 13.5 billion. Just a breakdown of the pests that we have. So again, dogs, well, clearly, I mean, cats are up there, 49 million, and whatnot. But clearly, dogs and cats are clearly at the top in terms of what people prefer. I did talk about people who have fish tanks, and I know a lot of people put thousands of dollars in a different exotic fish that they may have. But again, they don't live as long. But people still put in. I know some reptile owners. The breakdown in terms of the people who own dogs, again, is pretty spread out. I was a little bit surprised at this. I thought the Gen Z group would be a little bit higher, and it may be trending upward. But millennials, the guys just younger than us, those around 30, 35 years old, those are the largest chunk of dog owners. But it's pretty spread out across the board in terms of who has these pets. So it's like I said, they are a part of our lives. In fact, we got over 100 million dogs and cats in this country, in a country of 300 million people, and over 130 million households. So again, this is very much a part. Again, if I go to other countries now, again, I'm not saying every country. Like, I don't know if Asia is rocks like that with dogs, or if you go to a lot of African countries. This is a question I may ask Black David next time I see him. It's like, what is the status of dogs in Africa? Are they treated the same way? And again, I think Americans, we tend to go overboard anyway. I mean, with the way we dress our dogs, and there's so many products that I think we waste on pets. Getting them. I got to tell my daughters, like, no, do not order Doc another costume or uniform or anything like that. I mean, it's I think sometimes the spending does get a little excessive when it comes to our pets.
With Alex, we only had him like 1-2 things for the winter. That's it. Sometimes Hercules had one coat, and it was a little Christmas coat we used to put on because he hated it, and we got kicked out of it too because of the little bells and everything. And he used to shake his paw, try again. But I didn't go crazy. I kept them very minimum with my animals. And that's why, except Alex, all of them lived a long life and a healthy life. I remember my old vet. He said, whatever you're doing to this dog, keep doing it. And it was 6 more years after that I got out of him. Didn't go crazy. This got me really good dog food. You can do. I do dry because of their teeth. It can rot very easily if you don't brush them. Got his shots on time. Cleaned his ears. Give him a bath. Played with him. Give him in the streets. That's it. And give him some love. Unconditional love to his animals. You don't need to go crazy.
Yeah.
Dressing them. I see people painting their nails and stuff like I just joke with Alex. Like, Alex, want to paint your nails? He looked at me like, oh, don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare. He gave me that look. And he knew what I was talking about. He's not stupid. Like, even one time I just joke when I had my long hair, I took my hair band and I tied these to ears to see if he not tight. And he looked at me like, shook his head like, don't you do that again. I'm like, we used to mess with each other. That's the kind of bond I had with my dog.
Yeah.
But I want to show 2 last pictures really fast before the next subject. I just want to give people a heads up. This might be heartbreaking. It's two pictures. This is the last two of them. The one night before, the night before he passed. I threw a bunch of flowers on it. Oh, close. This
Oh wow.
You can tell he wasn't healthy, right here.
Right.
You can tell something was going on. This is the downstairs right before we took him to when he came back from it. He couldn't keep his eyes open. Again, you can tell something was wrong, and that's the sad part.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll be honest with everybody. Paul about Tuesday, you couldn't even talk to me. How bad I was. I went through full box of tissues. It got to the point my eyes were hurting so much from crying. And I got to the point I had no more tears to come out towards the end of the day. Only thing I could say to people, I'm sorry. I'm crying. I'm sorry. Because I know some people feel uncomfortable with a man crying in front of them.
Yeah. And again, you do have that contingent of people. It's like, oh, it's over a dog. I mean,
somebody told me that today, but
some people are call them heartless or what have you. But yeah. I mean, there's still some of that sentiment out there. That people the pushback sometimes is like, yeah, you treat your dog better than you do people. But sometimes the pushback to that is sometimes dogs treat us better than people do. Right?
I say that all the time.
I mean, it's there's a reason why people are kind of going this direction, because again, to what you said earlier in terms of the care and maintenance that you have for it, having girls, having teenagers, the growing pains that you have to go through, putting braces in their mouths, for a lot of people, it's like say, oh, having a dog is expensive. It is a fraction of the cost it would to raise a family. And for some people, it's like, hey, not having to worry about, okay, how do I educate my kids? How do I pay for college? How do I pay for certain expenses, like I said, dance lessons or sports? I know on your Sparta network with Coach, we were talking about just the amount of money that people spend on sports for their youth sports, thousands of dollars a year, in hopes of what? Of the less than 1% that actually make it to, if you're a high school athlete, what are your chances of making Division I? Or even forget Division I, even Division III is less than 5% of those who play in those levels. So when it comes to discretionary spending, that's an area where I don't trample on. I don't count other people's money. You can choose to spend on your animals. You can choose to spend on your hobbies. You can choose to spend on your, on entertainment. Whatever, however you spend your money is how you spend your money. And I'm not one to be coming down on, okay, well, you shouldn't be spending so much. But yeah, I mean, my dog, yes, we have health insurance for the dog. He has regular maintenance checks, like you said, the shots that we talked about earlier. But food is relatively inexpensive because we do a lot of fresh food with him. He got off of kibble within 2 or 3 months after we got him, and he just didn't take to the kibble food. So we prepare, like I said, my wife, she prepares a lot of fresh food for him, and as long as
when you think about how much you're spending on dog food, Alex and Hercules went through a big 80-pound bag every 3 to 4 months. Cost me $8. That is nothing.
Yeah,
we spend $80 in a week on ourselves just for lunch, eating out.
Yeah,
if you're thinking
for sure. Or like I said, just paying for a meal plan at college or anything else. I mean, you're going to spend a lot of money. Now again, we found that fresh food is a little bit cheaper because I mean it depends on the brands that you get. Like I know some folks, like back in the day, you had like Alpo and Gaines Burgers, and I'm really dating myself here, but just a lot of these products now, or cat chow or pet dog chow or whatever. Now everyone has like Blue Diamond, and some of these brands, charge a lot of money for the dried stuff and even for the canned foods. I'm like, I think so when you compare to those kind of brands, I think we can do a little bit better. In terms of the cost of it, it really.
Oh, yeah, they even make pre-made raw dog food you can cook yourself.
Yeah, fresh pet. We use that. Yeah.
All my vets recommended it. is the number one dry dog food. It's Taste of the Wild. You can get it from a PetSmart. Petco is maybe sometimes carry it, but Tractor Supply always carries it. And it's like I said,
Tractor Supply.
yeah.
That's interesting.
With my delivery fees, it came out like $80 for it. Like it came out $1 per pound almost.
Not bad.
Shit, he loved it. I just changed the flavors because they have multiple. They had bison, they had fish, they had lamb, they had turkey, they had chicken. I just changed the flavors every time, and he was very happy.
Did you just give it to him straight, or you like put some water in it, or
Straight. And I free feed him. I don't know if you know what that is.
No, what is that?
Free feed him is I put in his bowl. He goes, takes a couple bites, and goes back. Takes a couple bites and goes back. All my dogs been free eaters.
Okay, so you don't just put a bowl there and just have them go at it.
Now, I have a bowl out there. Food's in there. They just go in their own convenience, eat whenever they feel like it.
Oh, okay, that would never work with mine. If he had that option, he wouldn't stop eating. My dog will eat. He'll have his dinner and he'll scarf it down in like 5 minutes or less, and then he's immediately running to you to see what else can you give him. Like he just will not stop eating. If I fed him, he'd be 100 pounds.
Like that.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back how you train it. And I realized Apollo is going to be a free eater because I already see how he is. He took a couple bites out of my hand. He walked away. He roamed around, tried to get into things, and I actually grabbed him out of there, of course, not by his tail, obviously, from his collar. And a few minutes later, he took a couple more bites and went back. Oh, you're a free eater. Gotcha, my man. That's even better for us because now I'm seeing the pattern with him in 24 hours, what he likes, what he doesn't like. Alexander, he was a free eater from the start. I put a bowl and you looked at me like, I'm not hungry, dude. I'm like, you're weird.
Yeah, that would never happen. If it's on the floor, if it's in the bowl, it's done.
Now, if you gave him raw fresh chicken, I cooked him rice and chicken sometimes when his stomach's upset, he'll devour the shit out of that food.
Yeah.
Put it down. I look over. Did you even taste it?
Yeah.
Like when I use my protein shakes, I always put yogurt and peanut butter. Two things dog can have very comfortably.
Yes.
As much peanut butter and yogurt. Yogurt's great for fur.
True that.
And I had left on a spoon. I go, here you go. Like, all right, come on. I loved how he took his time too. He's paw on my leg. I go, and they take his sweet time. He takes his sweet time. Like, I was sitting there for 5 minutes sometimes. Just look at the spoon. I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Hurry up. I got to go to work. But I'll turn that time back now. It says, take as much time as you want. We don't realize the time we can lose with our animals or even ourselves.
Yeah.
This is why I get upset with people sometimes. Because saying the few things, I love you. I miss you. Thank you for being a friend. Or just saying thank you. I have thanked you multiple times over the years I know you. What was it, 3-4 years now we know each other, right, bro? I have changed you multiple times. And sometimes you look at me and go, why are you thanking me? Because you are who you are. And I want to turn back a little bit to what you said earlier. Some people said it's just a dog. Somebody said that to me today, to be honest with you, Paul. He goes, what's the big deal? You need to say what's the big deal. Like, don't cry. It's a dog. You get another one.
Yeah.
I didn't get upset. I got angry. I know the person did not mean it the way it came out, but it's still fucked up. 2 reasons I didn't snap on him, to be honest with you. And let's be honest here, Paul. You know me pretty well, I think. You were my best friends. We can both say I have a little bit of a temper sometimes, right?
Yeah. I can say that.
You're supposed to be not really, but okay. But in this case, I think I had a good point. I think they're telling me those comments. Only 2 reasons why I walked away. I put my head up, and I didn't say a word to them, and I didn't speak to them for about 20 good minutes because I want to calm down. A, I was in church, and B, respect for Father Costantino because done for me. I know he didn't mean it, but it still bothered me. I know he's a good person overall, but his delivery was wrong. That's what it was. I know he was trying to say, listen, are you upset about your dog? but you don't need to cry over it.
Mm.
Get it. But it delivery was wrong. Me losing my temper was wrong too. I walked away.
Right.
I think I was the better man at the time, just for once. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
But, and I get it. He didn't mean like that.
Right.
So yeah.
But I think a lot of the views of people are also based on you talk about you were in church, even when it comes to religious groups. There's differences in terms of how people look at dogs. Now I know in the Bible, for example, dogs weren't always looked at as how we fashion them now. Because again, I think a lot of dogs were like strays or just wanderers or kind of sort of on the wild. So a lot of the language in the Bible, you could say, is a little bit somewhat derogatory towards dogs. Nobody and certainly in those times, nobody was like having dogs so incorporated into the families like that. So a lot of people took that to mean, oh well, dogs aren't meant to be these beloved animals. But something happened. I think certainly within the last 500, when you had breeding really became a thing, like 500-600 years ago, when certainly in England and whatnot, when dogs really started being groomed for companionship and also utility and work. I think something happened in our relationships to dogs where they weren't just just to be utilized. But something happened, I think, where we really, again, brought them into the inner circle of our lives. I mean, it's like I said, it's beyond just okay. I mean, like it would be I couldn't imagine having my dog outside. You know what I'm saying?
Agree.
Like a dog house and whatnot. In fact, my cousin's husband, he's a hunter. Like he takes his dog hunting with him and whatnot. But for his whole life, he lived. Now again, it was a nice dog house. It had it had a heater in there. It had and the dog was pretty well adept in living in that condition. And I remember growing up, I used to see dogs all the time that were again in the yard. On a chain. They had their dog houses. You went out, you fed them, and then you went back in the house or whatnot. The only time you brought them in is if the weather was really bad or it was too cold or something like that is where you would bring the dog into the house. But, but I think that relationship changed to where, yeah, I mean, they are there's very few aspects of our lives that we don't keep them from. And again, some people may still look at that as, if not wrong, at least strange. And again, some of that may come from, again, the values you've been set. I mean, sometimes there are derogatory terms, you're worse than a dog or certain phrases or expressions that people have over time. But I think they have, I think our relationship with the dog has changed, even certainly from religious days. Now, again, I don't know how Muslims think, for example, when it comes to dogs or having pets or what have you, but or any other religious groups out there, or even the Orthodox Church. I don't know, what were some of the things that Father Constantino taught when he taught you about it? Does the Orthodox Church have some sort of stance when it comes to pets and dogs in general? Is there a perspective that he shared with you on that?
So I'm going to answer all these three questions individually. So
Sure.
the Muslim I know a little bit, very little. Do you remember Hashim, who used to come on the show with
Yes.
us about the arena?
Yeah.
Okay, he's a dog lover. End of the day,
Mm.
he didn't want dogs at first, but he has a little dog now. He loves walking him. That's his bonding time, like it was me and Alex. So I can't say for every Muslim, but for that particular man, he's a dog lover. Now, as the Orthodox side of it, I'm torn two different ways because Father Cousin told me a story. It was this priest that turned into a monk, or a monk turned into a priest, excuse me. And when he retired, he had to go into a home. The only thing he wanted is to bring his dog. The facility he was going to go in, he says, I'm sorry, sir, we don't allow dogs. He goes, deuces, I'm not coming here. He ended up staying at a monastery, and the monks took care of him. He wasn't sure about this part, but he's pretty sure he was able to bring his dog with him. Think what I'm saying to you now. Towards the end of his life, the only thing he cared about keeping it was his dog.
Mm.
My neighbor, he's 90 something years old. He walks his dog every single day. He loves that dog. And that dog loved playing with Alex. That's the only dog he used to play with was mine. From all the dogs in his development. The only one.
Mm.
Tells you a lot.
Right.
Now, the Orthodox Church, oh man. They are saints that say they can talk to animals. Like, it was one saint that told the snakes hide during service because a lot of people are scared of snakes. And they all came out during service. Like, what did I tell you guys? Hide during service. Not everybody likes snakes. There are prayers for animals. I can literally get Apollo, even Alex. Father could read a prayer for them. I can't bring him in church, obviously.
Mm.
But he comes aside and he can read a prayer to them. The only thing I respectfully disagree, and I know this is how the church, he says he's going to look into it, get more information for me, but he's not positive about this one. I mean, obviously, it's so much to know. You can't know everything, all right? Can we agree on that?
True.
And it says, if you can, the spirit of the animal will be carried on to the next life. Heaven. I think it does. Father Castino is only on time on earth. I have a hard time believing that personally. And all due respect to Father Castino, I love him to death.
Yeah.
And I know that's what the Bible says, but I personally believe deep in my heart, I'm going to see Alex. I'm going to see Hercules again. And they're going to wait at me, waving their tails when I cross over on that side. Part of me was also struggling. I looked at my mom crying. Is Alex going to recognize Hercules? Because they never met each other. Technically, they're brothers because I raised both of them. My mom I think she comforts it. I don't know, but I think they will. I think she said it'd comfort me. I know they're both watching me right now.
Yeah, me, I guess I might be a little neutral. I mean, I like to say sometimes, there's certain questions that are above my pay grade. So I don't know what the answer is going to be. Whether or not do dogs go to or pets go to heaven or not, and those things. I mean, we can fashion those ideas, but my thing is only God knows that. But what I would say about the present, and this is something that I think I've shared on other shows or whatnot, what I'm learning more to do is to focus on the present. And that I think having pets generally, I think helps to improve humanity. I think that the idea of caring for something other than yourself, I think that's generally fruitful. I'm not saying don't take it away from your major purpose in life, certainly. And I still even, and really what's hard for me as well is I'm not one who thinks that pets, even dogs, should come above human relationships. I think that's that whole move that a lot of young people are making towards having pets instead of children. I think that's that's a level that's too far for me to kind of go over. But I do recognize pets' value. I know what my dog does for me in terms of calming me, in terms of being able to read me, being able to show affection, changing my habits, giving me a reason to get up and walk him every night. Because I don't just take him out to relieve him. Like, we go on legit walks. My dog has 2 distinct routes that he goes in. So we leave my house. You know where my house is. We go across the street, and he's either going to go left or right. And if we go left, I know where we're going. If we go right, I know where we're going. And he likes to kind of explore. He likes to go on these adventures, but it's a predefined route that he likes to go on. And that can take us 1.5 miles, sometimes 2 miles. So it's not just to, just to relieve him and get back in the house. But it's good for me because I know, especially when I started working remotely during the pandemic years, I realized that I wasn't moving around as much. I was sitting too long and just getting out of the house. Sometimes I would even take him for midday walks just to get out the house. It was good for me also, just to have that time to walk and limber up and whatnot, and not just because I can get into like this mode. You know how I work a lot of times. I could just get in and just be for hours and never get up from what I'm doing. I just get so locked in. So it's helped me in that regard. I think it's been good for my kids and that teaching them to quit thinking about themselves, because the most selfish individuals probably on earth are probably women, young women in particular, because it's all about it's all about their stuff and what about me, and I don't want to do this and that or whatever. So again, just teaching them that sense of selfishness, a selflessness towards someone else. I mean, again, they treat the dog better than they do each other sometimes. It's like, man, you guys are fighting again, but they all love Doc, and in a pinch, certainly they'll go on and do what they need to for him. So we're also a cleaner household. Like sometimes we weren't always like, if you had shoes on the ground, especially when he was teething in those earlier years, they were gone. Forget it. He got into some Uggs that one of my daughters had, and it was over. And so we had to learn. It's like, look, you need to clean up. First of all, your Uggs shouldn't be left in the middle of the atrium in front of the house anyway. You need to put them up. You need to put them in a closet, wherever you need to put them. So he made us have to create an environment that was healthier for him, which was ultimately healthier for us. Less clutter, cleaner, more responsible. So I think in a lot of ways he gives that. Now, again, having our kids obviously did some things for us as well. But again, that's why one of the reasons why I wanted to wait until my kids were older, until they were like teenagers and whatnot, because I knew if they were kids, they really wouldn't be, have that time to put in. But again, especially with young teenage women, young adult women, it's all about them. But with him, you have to be, that. So, and I think he's given us that. So I would say this: I think dogs are a blessing, especially when you look at all of the ways in which they help humanity. Like I said, they're canine dogs. There's military dogs, sniffing bombs, testing medicine. Like my dog, like I said, was an adoptee, but he came from an animal testing lab. And I know the agency where we adopt them from, they don't like necessarily when that information is shared, but beagles are very useful and preferred in animal testing, especially on medicines, because of their agreeable, docile nature. So they prefer to use beagles in testing. So some of the medicines that you might be using probably was tested on dogs before they went to human trials and other things. So I mean they've helped us be better as a humanity. And for that reason, certainly I'm grateful, and I thank God for the dog and that time 30,000 years ago where dogs and humans formed that human canine bond, which is a real thing. You can look that up, that human canine bond. It's a real thing. And we've both got mutual benefit from it. So I leave when it comes to any kind of spiritual things. I'm grateful for him. He's literally right here. But so I express gratitude in the present, but as far as the future, like I said, I'm going to have to at some point, God willing, it won't be for at least another 7 years. He's 7 now. Hopefully God will, I'll get another 7 years with him, to contemplate those questions, but I'm just enjoying the present. And that's just how I am with everybody, even with human beings. It's like, I don't know how long I'll have anybody who's close to me in my life, but I try to appreciate them while they're here rather than answering those questions. Well, what will heaven be like? I don't even do that in my own personal faith, because for me, my personal faith is something that has to be actualized in the present. So what you see today, I don't have to, I'm not so focused on heaven that I am no earthly good to anybody here. So again, a lot of those questions or what have you, I'd be like, yeah, it'll be good, fine. However you want to passion or whatever, but I'm more focused on here. So that's just my general approach to these spiritual questions about heaven or where our dogs are, and that's just me personally. But I certainly do see, and I've heard commentaries, on, from certain people who talk about, will dogs go to heaven and things. I mean, some people ponder those questions. I just think that, those, like I said, those are questions that I don't think we can really have a definitive answer to. But if believing in something gives you comfort that you can go away from and just go on with your life, then, believe in that if that gives you some if that gives you some comfort.
So, a couple of things. You women out there, I'm not going to bash you guys, but I want you to listen to me very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
You're an animal lover. A couple of brands do use beagles as experiment.
Yeah.
Two-Face, Jeffree Star. Those are two brands off my head right now. I can say they have said it publicly. They use animal testing beagles. I made a rule with my ex. She had Two-Face and Jeffree Star. As long as you live under this fucking house, under me, with me together with you, you're not buying any more Jeffree or Two-Face products ever again. She didn't like that. I didn't give a shit. You have other brands you can buy instead. That's good. Now, the spiritual thing part. I do think about heaven. What is it on the other side? Because I lost a lot of loved ones, close people to me. And that is the part that scares the shit out of me. But it's that saying. That's why I'm struggling with this so much too, is am I going to see Alex ever again? We don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
But both our pay grades, unfortunately. Even Father Costantino's pay grade.
Right.
Even his power priest and him, there's only one person up there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is something that I cannot control. You can control. It is what it is, unfortunately. Like you said, it is tragic. It hurts. I just remember out there, it's just when somebody is hurting, it's not a lot you can say about losing an animal, but just be there. Most of the time, they just need a hug. And that's what I needed mostly right now. Because this is not going to be gone anytime soon. Even Apollo's here, he's not going to comfort me. Like Alex said, it's a different comfort. But my mind is going to be focused. The house was empty for the longest time.
Yeah.
Now we have life again. And that's what makes it more better now. The way he's training right now, I could technically bring him upstairs and sleep upstairs, but he's so tiny, I'm scared I'm going to squish him.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to squish any dogs right now. So he needs to grow a little longer. And I need to see he's good in his crate before I start opening the house to him. So that's where I'm at right now.
Gotcha. We're going to start to wind down the show. Again, we want to thank you guys for being with us. And for again, another show, we offered up for people to come up and talk to us, but posting a show. But again, we appreciate certainly for the guys who've been on tonight. We've had quite a bit of traffic coming through here tonight, so we appreciate you guys being here with us. Just make sure you hit the like button certainly before you leave the show. And again, hop on over to Sparta HQ Network. Show some love over there as well by hitting the like button on that stream. That's simulcasting. So again, we appreciate the support that you give us. But I would just say this. If I was in that situation, I think my sentiment would be similar to Peter's in that I would probably want to get another beagle right away, or another beagle within a relatively short period of time. I mean, there would be some, definitely some loss and whatnot, but I think we're getting to a point now in our lives also, given that we're kind of becoming empty nesters. And the only things, we're certainly looking forward to travel. I think that would certainly be the only thing we'd have to be mindful of, because, the goal, certainly for my wife and I, is to do a lot more travel, 2 major locations a year. And we've been able to certainly take advantage of the fact that, last few years, if we've gone away somewhere, it's like, girls, we're going away. Here's the food. Again, my wife is very meticulous. She makes individually packed dog food and puts it in the fridge. So all you got to do is just go into the fridge, take it out, put it in a bowl, and feed them. That's all you got to do. And, you guys work out your walk schedule. He walks, he gets a walk at night, in the morning, and a walk at night. You guys figure out your schedule between the 3 of you in terms of who's going to do what. And that's been it. But when they start moving out, then again, we'll have fewer resources in which to do that with, so we may have to rely on, different dog sitters or other people who could possibly take that on. That'd be the only logistical issue. And my wife has already said that she doesn't want another dog, even though she loves him. But, so that's going to be, for me, I guess that's going to be the conversation that we can have. And I would hope that, maybe she may need a month or 2 to be like, yeah, I really miss having a dog, and let's get another one. I don't think it's going to be something where it's like right away, we need to get another dog, at least not with her. So that's really the conversation that I am somewhat anxious about, and to see, can we come to a meeting of the minds? Okay, if you want to give it 6 months, if you want to give it a year, before we have another one, because again, she's vested. She's, she literally gives, she does things for him that she wouldn't do for a lot of other people. So, so getting over that is something that, that's the conversation. But I think I would, probably want to pull him if she gave me a green light and said, let's get another one right away. I know exactly where I'm going. I'm going back to the rescue where we got him. And they have, in fact, every Saturday, you can go to the local Petco in my area, and they bring in the beagles. Like I said, they're constantly getting rescues from these animal testing labs. That's their flow. That's their supply. Is coming from that. And the only thing they say, the only thing the animal testing lab tells us, like, look, just don't badmouth us. Yes, we're not changing our policies anytime soon. These animals, they're set up for one test. And a lot of times, whether or not the test has actually gone through or not, it's like, because they need the dog at a certain age, a certain sex, a certain, parameters, and whatever the test is, once it's done, it's done. And if they don't give the dogs to the adoption agencies, then they euthanize the dogs because they can't be reused. So again, so I know exactly where I'm going, because when we rescued him, it just opened up another spot for another dog to be rescued and possibly adopted. And the site that we got him from, they post pictures every week or so about other beagles or other, or beagle mixes that they're trying to set up for adoption. They do the surgery. They every dog is either spayed or neutered. That's part of your adoption. In fact, we only paid $400. Spayed or neutered, depending on the sex.
Nothing.
And microchipped. That's all part of it. The only thing you have to do is you have to pass, and this is the one thing that I learned about adoption, is you have to pass their criteria. Don't then think because, okay, well, yeah, I want a dog, that, you go to especially some of these adoption agencies that they're just going to give you a dog. They want to make sure that it's a good fit for the dog as much as it is for the people who are adopting the dog. So they're going to ask you questions. Is there going to be someone home with the dog? Is your yard fenced in? All these other parameters they're going to ask you. And they can turn down your application. We got turned down about 3 times for dog applications before we found him. The only thing that really allowed us to get him was, one, we went there and I talked to the lady who was doing the registration, doing the applications, and she remembered me and I brought the whole family there. So she saw it, said, okay, this is a nice American family, and hey, they look pretty good, and so pass. And that's how we got him. If I was just a name out there, or if she just saw our info, I don't know if we would have got him.
Yeah.
And so those are things that are part of it as well. But that's certainly my final thought. But yes, but for the time being, yeah.
Thoughts.
Yeah.
Was he housebroken already? And if you can say
partially. We had to go through. He was 10 months old when we adopted him. He was crate trained, but partially potty trained. And when we got him, what happens is when they do the surgeries, they have these foster families that they also work with. So they put him in a foster so he can recover from his surgery. Again, he got neutered, so he's in recovery. And then again, they bring the beagles out every. So if you go there like on a Saturday, there's going to be like a dozen beagles in there. And people get to interact with them and whatnot. If you're interested in adopting one or whatever, you fill an application, they process, they get back to you on it, or you follow up with them after a time. And I'm holding down the fact that we're kind of alumni. That if I went back, so we know you guys. Oh, you died to Doctor Strange, okay, fine. Fast path me to getting another one. I wouldn't have to go through the same process again. But yeah, that's kind of how that process went for us. And but yeah, it's one of the better decisions I made back in 2019, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. And like I said, he's been good for us, and we've been good for him. And that's my main takeaway from it. So
there's not much I can say. One thing I wanted to, and I told you this. First of all, I want to thank you, Paul, for doing a show on Alex. I want to thank my team for backing me up, stepping in on my leave of absence. I want to thank BMU for doing justice on the thumbnail today. Thank you, brother. And I'd like to do the show in honor of Alex's name. The pain's not going to go away anytime soon. Probably won't be for a while. It might be longer than last time. I'm always going to remember my buddy. I'm always going to love him. He was always there for me. I would do anything to have him one last moment. Pet him. Kiss him. Then I love him. If you have a pet, that's good for you, Paul, too. When the stream ends, go with them. Hug him and kiss him. Because you never know when's the last time.
Literally, my hand is on his head, right? He's like literally right here. He's on the couch and he's right next to me.
Sometimes Alex popped his head in a stream over here, and he goes like, "I want to be on camera," because he loved being on camera.
He's right here. Yep.
And I know how that feels. Like I said, kiss him tonight and hug him, because you never know.
Absolutely.
Because this waterworks, me crying as a grown ass man at 40 over an animal, it could be you. So be the best you can be for them. And if you see somebody, don't say, "I'm sorry." Give them a hug and tell them it's okay. That's all I have.
There you go. Well, again, we want to thank you guys for being part of this conversation. Again, like we talked about the likes and everything. Again, appreciate BMU for certainly giving us a space and this platform. And, so again, we look forward to seeing you guys. We'll have a topic set up. We'll talk about the topic for next week. We'll go back to our regularly scheduled programming, but certainly for this week, we want to certainly pay tribute and give Peter a chance to share his story and best of wishes with Apollo, and that, again, while Alex can never be replaced, that certainly you will continue to get joy from caring for him and then what he gives you back. But certainly for myself, Mr. Bennett, for the Spartan, and then shout out to, again, the last tribute to Alex. Goodbye, friend. Thank you for loving Peter and his mom and the joy that you gave to, and also to Mariana. I just want to recognize her as well, because Mariana, you want to talk about friendship. Mariana has been a godsend, and she really was there for Peter in those last moments. So she's been a terrific friend to him, and certainly we appreciate what she's done and what she's been able to been to Peter and his family. So, but for us, this is the gray area. You guys certainly enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. God bless, and we will see you next time. Good night.